It's a Nazi doll.
What?
It's a Nazi doll.
Dolls can't be Nazis, Doc.
Yeah, but it was made by Nazis.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me a screener for MAMOCHKA, and this 2026 film was directed by Villain Trube and stars Alexander Kollar, Maya Murphy, and Dino Castelli, among others, of course. And so what is the story of this movie? Well, it follows this family, primarily it follows the father, and they inherit this creepy doll, and I guess it's from like the mother-in-law. I guess she dies and they get this doll, and it kind of causes nightmares with the people in the family. So the father, he's having nightmares about ghosts and stuff like that, and the wife is kind of nonchalant about it. She kind of wants to get rid of it, but not really. And then the son is also a little bit kind of crazy as well, and he's kind of creepy. And so the father, he wants to, find out about this doll. So he takes it to a doll doctor to get appraised, and he finds out that this doll is a Nazi doll made by the Nazis with real human hair, possibly from the Holocaust, though it's never really confirmed. And so they are looking into what happened with this doll and what happened in World War II. It kind of seems to be his new hobby to research World War II. And so this doll it's kind of creepy, kind of causes nightmares, and might even be possessed. What will happen though? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. All right, so let's discuss this movie. So what works with it? Well, I thought the score was pretty good. Like the music, it does say it's an original score. And I gotta say, it really did kind of, get me involved in the scenes where, the music's heavy and stuff like that. So the music certainly is one of the better parts of this one. Really kind of gets you interested in the scenes and tells you a lot about what kind of how to feel when you're watching this stuff. So it is, I gotta say, something that works with this one. Also, with this movie, there are some fun scenes, I gotta say, like when they're getting the doll appraised and stuff like that. I thought that was quite entertaining. And then the father figure has a friend, and it's his best friend in the world, and he's semi-retired, so he can kind of call him anytime. And I gotta say, I enjoyed the friend. Anytime the friend was on screen, I was certainly watching. And so that, I would say, there are these moments here or there that do hold your attention. And I think that kind of brings me to what doesn't work with it, because it is quite a flawed movie. I would say one thing that stood out was the writing. I didn't find it to be well written. I found the dialogue to be kind of very awkward, and sometimes people seem to be talking past each other like they're not even listening. But if it's a script, like you're just supposed to say your lines, right? So they are scripted to not hear each other or not respond to each other. And that was just kind of, an issue. I seemed like the acting on top of that was not particularly good. I would say most of the actors in this one are very stiff, except the best friend. I really enjoyed his performance, but like the father, the wife, the child, everybody in this movie is quite a stiff actor. So that is kind of like a double whammy when it comes to it, because they aren't saying the lines with passion. They're just kind of saying them, and it certainly takes away from the film. Other than that, this movie is quite slow, and there's like whole scenes where nothing's really happening, like whole minutes even of just like people standing in kitchens or turning on the water or cutting the carrots or whatever it might be, or brushing your teeth, scenes that are not very interesting. And I think because there are so many of scenes like this, it'd be good to have something to do while you're watching this movie. I was doing something with little, Warhammer models. So I was able to have kind of an escape for these kind of really dull scenes. So if you're just watching it, it's not going to be like a thrilling movie. And I would say, have something to do while you're watching this one, because there's just so many of these slow scenes. Once the music, starts going and stuff like that, like to watch the screen. But beyond that, these really kind of dull scenes do take away from the movie. Also, it is a movie where nothing is explained. Like, why is this doll haunted is never explained. And then the powers of the doll, like, it just seems like it causes nightmares in the people around it, but that never seems to be kind of like a threat to anybody. And that is certainly an issue, I would say. There is also this weird part into it where something happens twice. Like it's like Groundhog Day. Like he goes, gets the doll appraised, and then the next day he wakes up and people say the same thing to him, so he goes and gets the doll appraised again, even though he knows everything about the doll, and he's like telling this stuff to the person. He's like, oh yeah, you've done a lot of research. And it's like, no, this is his second time doing this. That's why it's like that. So it just is very odd. Like, why would it one day happen twice and then it's never referred to again and it never happens again? And so there are elements to it where it's just kind of a messy film, a messy story even. So yeah, that's an issue. What else can I say? It's really just like not an exciting movie. Like I never really got that into it. I did, of course, watch the whole thing, but at the same time, like it's just nothing really happens and nothing exciting happens, at least. Like it's very, very slow. So yeah, that is, I would say, probably the biggest issue with this one. And so would I recommend this movie? I would say this one's probably skippable. And if you are watching it, be in a situation where you don't have to watch the screen the whole time because it is quite slow. And as for a rating, well, I'm going to give it the 3.4, which is the score for Double Meh, because ultimately I thought it was a very kind of mundane movie. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.